So the abstract that we presented at ASCO 2019 this year, there were actually 3 abstracts. One in a summarization of, actually there was actually a number of abstracts, but the 3 abstracts that I think that were key was, one was the abstract on adult patients, the long-term follow-up on adult patients of 83 patients, which is significant number more than the 55 that was included, which included pediatrics in the 3 studies, phase 1, Navigate 2, and the pediatric SCOUT study in the original indication. The other abstract was Dr. Kumar's study on just patient-reported outcomes. And lastly, Dr. Alex Drillin had a really important oral presentation on the efficacy of Larotrectinib in patients with CNS Mets and primary CNS malignancies. And in our abstract of 83 adult patients, I think the 2 key points that came out of that was, one, that the overall response rate was very equivalent to the initial approval of indication of approximately 75%, 76% for the investigator review response rates. But also was important was just the duration of response, the overall median progression-free survival, and overall survival. All these that were not, didn't have enough data in the original application. And the overall, duration of response was not reached because it was just, we still have patients on for very, very, very long periods of time. The median progression-free survival was approximately 25.8 months, over 2 years, if you think about it. And the median overall survival has yet to be reached, which also suggests both the durability and the efficacy of Larotrectinib in this patient population.
Although the study really was not designed to look at the difference between upfront treatment with TRK inhibitors or patients who receive this as a later line of therapy, there really is a signal of a high response rate, or response rate of approximately 80% across the study population, and it doesn't seem to be carried by patients who are treatment naive. So we really think that response to TRK inhibitors occurs irregardless of prior therapy, because that prior therapy is really not interceding upon this oncogene addiction to TRK. So we really believe that these inhibitors are effective across all lines of therapy.
Our abstract in the adult population and what we reported both in ESMO last year, and the data that has now accumulated for many of these patients for long periods of time. The longest patient who's been on the study has been almost 5 years since the phase 1. And what we know from this is that the safety, that this drug is incredibly well tolerated. The vast majority of adverse events or toxicities are things like fatigue, dizziness, and mild nausea. These are all mild, grade 1 and 2. There haven't been any new adverse events that have emerged on these patients who've stayed on for long periods of time. We do know that the drug can cause, in a small subset of patients, some hepatotoxicity. Oftentimes it's just an increase in both the liver function, AST and AST, and these are reversible. We just usually hold the drug or dose reduce the Larotrectinib, and usually this resolves. Patients do respond even at lower doses of Larotrectinib under 100 milligrams twice daily.